In this edition of our Throwback Thursday, here's a question for you. Can you, as a parent, ever imagine your child making a school threat? Then a knock on the door comes. It's the police, and they're expecting you in court to pay fines. It's exactly what happened. 3 months ago, as more threats continue to pour in, we focused on making parents pay. According to a prosecutor in Michigan, parents to be punished for school threats. Another day, another round of school threats. It has become all too common, and the Macomb County prosecutor says he has a plan to stop them. So let's take a look.
Fox News' Charlie Langton joins us now. Charlie, not only are these threats incredibly disruptive, they're scary, and it's just not good news for the kids and their futures if they do this.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, it's really bad. I'll tell you what, just today alone, we've had threats in Taylor. In fact, the one in Taylor, some kid posted a picture of a gun and said that he was going to shoot the head off the principal. Of course, those schools in Taylor closed. Redford, out. South Lyon East High School, a lockdown because of a threat in the bathroom. And then South Lake School in St. Clair Shores, another threat. Well, Macomb County prosecutor Pete Lucino, he's got an idea to end school threats, in part by making parents pay. Take a look.
Talk to your kids and said, don't you dare make me pay for something so stupid as this.
Macomb County prosecutor Pete Lucino says he's prosecuted 50 school threats this year, a 50% increase from last year. And he's emphasizing now that students should call this number if they see a threat.
855-565-2729. Okay to say.
And what do you want the students to do?
I want the students to call because they are the first line defense as it relates to their own class, their own selves.
Well, Lucino has a 1-2 punch to end school threats. First, have the students call the okay to say number. But next, make the parents pay for the criminal acts of their kids. If a kid makes a joke, they send something on social media, I'm going to blow up the school, whatever, and they get caught. You're telling me that the parents are going to pay?
You got it.
It could be thousands of dollars.
You know what? Tell your students right now, your children, you have an obligation to go ahead and take care of your kids, but you also have an obligation for those acts that go ahead and have consequences of paying back the cities, the townships, and the villages for all of this excess that other parents shouldn't be paying. It's your child. You have the responsibility. Make sure you do your job as a parent.
All right, so you could be charged with a number of crimes. The biggest one would be making a threat of terrorism that is a 20-year felony.
So, right.
We were talking about
discussing this, and this is the problem that has been on the books for years. However, in this state, even if you charge them with this felony, we don't have any right now currently that's been taken to that level. It's all been plugged down. If you charge a child who has made a threat or makes a false threat, don't you think that's going to set an example for these other children who keep doing this? If they fondly do this and take it to the level of punishment where really right now it deserves to be.
So you're talking about maybe a 12, 13, 14, 15-year-old kid. So yes, if you want to go through the criminal system and have the criminal felony on the record, yes, I guess you can do that. Most times in the juvenile system, it's kind of a system where you want to teach them a lesson. It's not really a criminal per se. It's a system where you want to get help.
Sure.
And the family needs help. The parents need help. Everyone needs services they can give them. So maybe the kid needs counseling. Maybe the kid has to be told right from wrong. Maybe the kid does have to go to Children's Village in Oakland County for a couple of days or a couple of weeks or a couple of
But
months.
if you see your friend being charged with a 20-year felony and as an adult and possibly spending that time in bars, it might change your mind about
they usually charge them. They usually do charge, but then yes, they can plead down. They can go through the juvenile system. There's another thing. There's another thing Lucino wants to talk about. It's called the Hero Award. So a Hero Award is an award given to the school, not the kid that calls the number to report. It's to the school. So everything is anonymous, and I know that he wants to emphasize that. Something's got to be done. We had 4 today, and I know we had every day there's all 3 counties.
In the pocketbook, Lucino is may actually start getting people to start.
But that's tough because some parents can't even pay for their kids' lunch. I mean, how can you do that?
Well,
that's a tough situation.
Let's see how many convictions and how much they are going to be charged.
Something needs to be done.
Something's got to happen.
Yeah, sure.
Right, sure.
And something does need to be done about this. Let me pull up the comments section of this, and then we're going to take a break. Because really, when I've heard about making parents pay, it kind of crossed my mind. I was like, nah, that ain't gonna work. But it does. Whenever you make a threat, you go to jail. So, let's look at the comment section for this video. Parents are responsible for kids' actions. This is from Leslie Flowers 2 months ago. 100% sure they are. Watch who your kids' friends are. Watch their social media profiles. Look through their phones. Parents are responsible to allow who their kids hang around at least after school. Parents have full control of their kids' actions. Parents need to be involved in their kids' lives. Agreed? Kids don't listen to parents. To do such a thing, the kid needs to go to juvenile detention so they can think about their actions. The parents have no clue what's going on. They're too busy trying to make a dollar to survive. Kids are followers these days. And another one from 3 months ago. The parents should be charged if they are not warning them about the consequences of fake threats to the schools. Two more and then we're going to take a break. These kids don't have a clue how much court costs will cost their parents. Wake up. Good, this happens more often. Parents aren't parents anymore. More security in schools. Check their backpacks for guns and weapons. Good thing. A very good thing. Up next, still ahead, it's our spring break action. But coming up next, remember the devious licks? There's a challenge going on TikTok, and we have talked about it last season. We're gonna show you some clips. We watched some clips from the news. Stay with us. Before we continue on to the videos, let me read you some more comments. It's no discipline in the house. This is the scapegoat if you have a problem child. Sounds good. They're more scared of their parents. Oh well, they report their kids. Then the fine should be dropped on the parents, not the kids. Good. Schools and cities have led to waste time and resources to investigate their little darlings' threats, jokes, putting communities and schools into unnecessary fear so they can be hit where it hurts, in their pocketbook. School usually has custody of the kids for that time. Pretty blanky threatening people who have no clue or control over their own children's situation. School is incarceration far more than education. For a portion of those legally compelled to attend, either treat people like people or expect negative responses. Public education has become a sick joke. Illiterate, apathetic teachers and administrators need to find another line of work. Lots of places hiring. There usually must be intent in order for a crime to be committed. Therefore, a parent without intent to a threat has not committed any crime. I'm not a lawyer. Perhaps we should pre-suffrage and hold husbands accountable for their wives. So what do I have to think about this? Well, after watching it several times, I do have to agree. Parents need to be held responsible. But yes. Remember, if you're a parent abusing your kids, that's child abuse. You can be charged for negligence or child abuse, and your child can be sent to foster care. But when I heard about this idea, it just kind of upset me. It just kind of got me upset. But when I started looking into this, it really got to me. Yes, that's the way to end it. We have to charge parents. You may sit there on one side saying, "Yay, it's great. He's stepping up." Other people may say, "Well, it's going to hit us in our pocketbooks. What are we going to do for retirement?" Talk to your child. Just talk to your child, and maybe then you'll understand that it's not cool to be posting any threats. Not cool at all. Okay, moving on now. Do you remember last season we focused in on the devious licks? If you don't know what that is, it is a trend going around all of TikTok where you steal and vandalize school property. It's all over the news. Take a look at this from last year. Well, not this. This is advertising, but again, it's to where you take school property and you take some school property, you destroy school property, and then you take it home with you.
I didn't even...
Take a look at this.
The viral TikTok trend going in the wrong direction. It's happening in our local schools.
So this trend, you might have heard of it, it's called devious licks, and students have been recording themselves vandalizing and stealing school property. Fox 5's Paris Jones is looking into how it's affecting our area and has reaction.
Well, if you try to search devious licks on TikTok, this is the screen you'll get that says no results found. And that's because TikTok has removed any content or hashtags related to the challenge. Either way, this has both parents and school officials concerned. It didn't take long for the latest TikTok trend to reach schools in the DMV. The result of the Devious Licks challenge, similar to what you'll see in schools across the U.S. Soap and paper towel dispensers ripped off of walls in the bathroom, damage to other school property, all for likes on social media.
It's so sad. I just don't understand why these children are turning to that kind of vandalism to express themselves.
It's very disappointing. I think it needs to be handled very quickly and with an iron hand.
And one parent in Prince William County who wanted to remain anonymous told me a kid at her son's school ripped a soap dispenser off of the wall and put it in the toilet. She also says there was another incident where several boys took a fire extinguisher from the school, used it outside, and posted to their Snapchat. She says, I wish they could take a moment to think about how certain actions may affect their future and others around them. Several Fairfax County principals sending out letters to parents this week about the trend, like the principal of Falls Church High School asking parents to take some time to have a talk with their kids. The principal of Rocky Run Middle School also sent a letter to parents saying some students are damaging paper towel dispensers and stealing soap dispensers, which, quote, presents a challenge to maintaining a healthy and safe school environment. Fairfax County Public Schools says they're aware of several incidents of damage to school property related to the TikTok challenge. They say, quote, disciplinary action has and will be taken against those who participate. And now Stafford County Public Schools is also dealing with this. A spokesperson told me today they're addressing it with the parents and school resource officers first, and when necessary, through the code of conduct. Back to you.
So let's take a look at these. Let's take a look at these. Let's take a look at all these. I'm gonna mute it because there's back.
They caught me lacking.
They got background music. So I'm gonna describe these to you. Walk these through. Okay. So let me just let me start the video over. I can't believe they caught me lacking. Okay. So you see the ceiling tile fan here? That's gone. And then you have the viewboard with pens. Have been finished. You stopped a kid from taking the sign. And this was short. This was from TikTok. And YouTube has posted all of this. And look at this guy. He takes a trunk door and puts it in the back seat. How about this one? He walks in. He takes all those things from the urinals. All those things from the urinals. It puts him in his backpack. All of this in his backpack. Walks off. How about this one? Soap dispensers. But he got the whole school from Riley.IH. Then turned into my house with all those stolen school property stuff. Look at that. And then look at what he did. Another profoundly scandalous lick. He took the computer. A computer, really. And look at this. Hit a lick in the middle of the class. And this way gets in his backpack. And he takes the fire extinguisher. You're like, oh crap. And an absolute Dominican, like, what? What happened? Only a month into school, got this absolute devious lick from whiteboy.wes. And you know what he takes? A freaking hand sanitizer dispenser. Y'all taking this trend too far. That's good. All the toilets are gone. First month in the school and already caught this absolute despicable lick. This person takes a microscope. That is stealing. That's theft. You can go to jail. Only 2 weeks into school and I got this absolute devious lick. He gets the paper towel dispenser. In just a few minutes, I'm going to win this trend. He freaking gets a box of tools and he steals the freaking water heater. I know what's gonna happen here. That projector looking real nice up there. We back in this MF and hit an absolute diabolical lick. And look at what he takes. A soap dispenser. It's best this lick. They take $50,000 to $60,000 of computer gear. Whoa. Best lick ever. Takes his hair. Okay. Only 1 month in the school and I already got a devious lick. Let's see what he takes. He took that school property. We're going to skip to the end. He already took it. We're almost like 2 minutes into the video. He took all the cell phones and a shoe and a watch. Y'all doing these small ass licks. And the police. I got 5 stars now. What is this, Grand Theft Auto? Caught yet another godforsaken lick. He takes a freaking projector. That is serious jail time. Dude, that is some serious jail time. Bro spent 30 trying to figure out what to steal. He took Mrs. Spencer's tree. Took a freaking tree. Where's my tree? Where's my tree at? And a devious look on this stupid school. He takes a freaking toilet. Takes a thing to flush the toilet with. Y'all still in school hitting licks. Top this one. Gets in his bag and he gets the stoplight. POV, you're a high school janitor and hear this song down the hall. Can't have crap in school no more. This train got stopped. He's exposing me. Look at all this. The toilet is gone here. About another one. Charlie not gonna be happy with this. Like, he takes the sign and he plugs it in. You know what it's time for? If you're a big fan of the original channel for the original episodes, you know what's going to happen. If not, common sense alert. Stealing and vandalizing school property is wrong. You could be sent to jail. That's common sense. When we come back, I hate vandalism, and it's the subject of our Throwback Thursday. Then, spring break action. Stay with us. I hate vandalism. There's no excuse. I have no tolerance for it. I have no tolerance if someone destroys school property. It's vandalism. This is destruction of school property we're talking about. Everything, it costs money. And who's to blame for these? It's the kids who are destroying school property, leaving us taxpayers to repay for the damage. You need to pay. You're going to pay for it, not the parents. You may sit there and say, "Well, I'm going to pay for this," but it's worse than that. The district can decide to press charges. You kick a locker, you're in jail. It'll be up to the district to press charges. It's exactly what happened in this case. In this case, this was just a couple days ago. A Greenwood High School experienced overnight vandalism. Take a look.
This man from the Salvation Army was at Greenwood High School hoping to hire some students.
We're looking to hire for the summer for lifeguards and for camp counselors.
But instead, he got these posted signs.
And it said, today this school is closed. And I came out here today and I didn't really know what happened or took place.
What closed the school was vandalism. Shortly after midnight, 4 people entered through an open band room door. We were not allowed to see the damage, but we're told it was caused when people emptied fire extinguishers, possibly 8 of them, filled with monoammonium phosphate, a powdery fire suppressant with some downsides.
If it's airborne, it's a respiratory hazard. If it's on the ground, it's no hazard really. And if you're sweaty, maybe it might be a skin irritant, but other than that, it's not anything at all.
Well, when I read it, makes a real mess.
It does make a mess, absolute mess.
And this man, who identified himself as the school's operations director, said staff and teachers spent the morning successfully cleaning up the mess. As to who might be responsible for the mess inside the high school, well, to those folks, you should know you got your picture taken.
There are cameras inside and outside the high school.
So, fair to say they got a pretty good idea who's responsible?
Yeah, the police department's reviewing all the video footage with the school administration and everything.
Greenwood police described the vandals as kids, adding there is an active investigation underway. Meanwhile, the school superintendent wrote the high school is set to resume in-person instruction tomorrow morning. In Greenwood, Steve Brown, Fox 59 News.
It's just outrageous, and we've lost common sense. Now there's something new from Fox 2 Detroit. The court weighs if the parents should be jailed on this. This is from the Oxford school shooting. That brings us to our next issue.
In court for the parents of the teen who killed 4 Oxford High School students. Their attorneys asked that the case be dismissed.
It's a case unlike any other, which will really determine whether the Crumbly parents are legally responsible for their actions of their sons. Fox 2 legal analyst, anchor and reporter Charlie Langton joins us live with more. Charlie.
Well, I'll tell you what, this was absolutely a fascinating case to watch. I had a front row seat, so that's good. But the legal issue in the case, in this particular case, basically, can the parents be responsible for the criminal acts of their son? James, Jennifer Cromley, they want the court throw the case out and release them from jail. The prosecutor, Karen McDonald, she says no, there's plenty of evidence to suggest that the negligence, the gross negligence of these parents did in fact contribute to the deaths at Oxford High School. And I'll tell you what, when you look at the case and how the judges ask the questions, very difficult to tell which side the judges are leaning towards. Take a look.
They came into the school, true, good for them, but then they just left. Didn't hug him, left the school, left him in for the rest of the day.
So that's the math worksheet is...
If I can just tag on
Sure.
one thing to Judge Eaves. They also didn't look in the backpack.
Well, with that kind of questioning, you would think the court was going to send the Cromleys to trial.
I couldn't help but think to someone in perhaps a more rural area who is a family of hunters who buys a 15 or 16-year-old a rifle to go deer hunting with, who best friend moved away, grandparent died, dog died, and was having, some tough times, and most kids at 15 or 16 are having a tough time with one thing or another anyway. And then all of a sudden, the hunting child goes off and shoots somebody, and then all of a sudden the parents are responsible for that? That's basically what you just summarized.
Well, now I'm not sure which way the court is going to rule.
So let me answer one thing if the judges are watching. You don't hunt with a handgun.
The Watsons have been to almost every hearing. They had 3 kids in the Oxford school, including one who had to deal with both Oxford and MSU.
If anyone out there that can impact us, call your state representatives, call your senators. Let's help to get some of these laws passed, because if there was a safe storage law, what we just happened wouldn't have happened. It would have been very straightforward. Clearly they bought him the gun. Clearly they didn't secure it safely from a minor, and we'd be going to trial.
So really very, very interesting. Again, legally is whether or not there is a relationship between the bad stuff that the parents did or didn't do. Buy the gun, didn't lock it, didn't check the backpack, didn't look at the drawings they had, and was that the cause, a cause of the death, where you've got a 15-year-old tried as an adult, basically take the gun and then commit first-degree murder. So there's the connection, and that's what this whole case is about.
And correct me if I'm wrong, because this is a precedent-setting case, there's nothing to follow. So that's why they're really breaking down every key part of this.
Yeah, and what's interesting, this case got to the Court of Appeals because the Supreme Court of Michigan said, hey, Court of Appeals, give us a decision. Figure it out. Should these parents be on trial for manslaughter?
Right.
Because of what the kid did criminally. And we don't mention the name at all. By the way, James and Jennifer Cromley, they were not in court today. They don't go to these appellate hearings, but the place was packed. A lot of people from Oxford very interested in this particular
Well, lots
case.
of eyes on this case. I'm very curious about what that gentleman said, what he heard, what we heard, which is this judge kind of riffing and talking about what may have happened, and then throwing out hunting gun twice.
Hunting rifle when it was actually a gun.
Why would he say that?
And I think that's kind of a razor. That's why I put it in there, because here's the deal. All cases is a precedent. So if you have a hunting rifle or a handgun, is that the difference? Are we going to take a look at the law, handgun versus hunting? There are a lot of people that have guns, and a lot of people teach their young kids to hunt.
Sure.
So if a young kid gets a gun and then shoots someone, does that mean the parents are going to be responsible for manslaughter?
But a handgun is underage, and they bought it for a Christmas present. So that actually adds another layer to it.
They did.
So
is that what we're looking for? If there's a young person getting a gun? Remember, the gun was in the drawer, and the parents did not know he took it out. We do not have safety laws like we're talking about now in the legislature.
Laws, right?
No laws were broken here. We did not have a gun safety law at the time of the shooting.
When can we expect a decision on this, Charlie?
45 days, 60 days or so. It's going to be a written decision, and there's no doubt in my mind this is going to the Supreme Court.
We know you'll be on it every step of the way. Charlie Langton for us. Thank you.
Now remember this, like I've said before we did these updates. If Ethan Crumley is convicted, he can face life in prison without the possibility of parole. That's what happened to Nicholas Cruz at the Parkland school shooting. He was sentenced to life in prison for his role in that Parkland school shooting, and the judge had had enough of this. Now, if you watch the GMB YouTube channel, we focus in on the case. I'm not going to replay all this because there's not going to be enough time. But when I come back, we're going to look at some spring break issues. We're going to take some ideas what you can do for spring break. I mean, it's not this from the original show, but it's an issue Throwback Thursday we can all do. So we'll be right back. Stay with us. Are you going to be hitting up the hotels this spring break? Do you notice those balconies that you sit on? Well, there have been some accidents from these balconies for over those years. And tonight, and it's Throwback Thursday, I've seen this report, and I thought I'd share with you guys all about these balcony accidents. Because really, when spring break is going all party, 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 like drunk high, and then all of a sudden you fall and die. Here's Lisa Guerrero.
Bedlam on the beach. Binge drinking. Raunchy behavior and arrests. It can only mean one thing. Spring break is back.
Spring break is going on full steam ahead here in South Padre, Texas.
And I'm in the thick of it. This young girl had to be carried off by her friends.
Let me ask you a serious question. Are you worried at all for your safety? I am worried about my safety. We don't take drinks from other guys. Anybody, we all have to stay together.
But there's another danger hiding in plain sight many students don't think about. Balconies. Watch as these daredevils take dangerous leaps off them into the hotel pools below.
Balconies may seem safe, and they usually are, but every year students are killed or injured falling off of them.
Including this young woman, Narita Cruz.
According to police, the 21-year-old spring breaker was perched up there on a 7th floor balcony when she slipped off and plummeted to her death.
This is what we found when we checked what was going on at hotel balconies. We watched plenty of binge drinking. And this spring breaker was perched atop a balcony railing. During this out-of-control midnight pool party, we spotted these guys who were standing on chairs and tables way up there. We went to the 9th floor to try and talk to them, but they slammed the door in our face.
You guys, we're from TV show. We want to talk to you.
The spring breakers on this balcony were friendlier.
None of us are gonna, climb on the balcony and do anything dumb.
I've had a friend, halfway off the balcony, almost falling off, and I've had to grab them and be like, hey man, we can't be that dumb.
With weeks of spring break still yet to come, let's hope the party stays fun and safe on the ground.
It's estimated more than 50% of all college students head to warm weather destinations during spring break.
Common sense alert. Don't even think about standing on the balcony while you're drunk ass high. While you're high. If you even think about it, if you're gonna have a party, do it on the ground, but don't be standing up on a freaking balcony and go, yay, party, go, whoa, 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 what, whoa. That's one way of putting it, or whoa, 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 whoa. You're dead, your friend is dead, they're in the hospital, and you, the friend, should have known better to put an end to this and say, hey man, don't be doing that. That we can't be doing something dumb like that. Like, relax, I'm not gonna fall. If you know something's happening, immediately get the manager, threaten it, and say, hey, if you do not get off that balcony, our friendship is over. That will send a message out, and that will send a message out, and that will raise common sense to the bone. Okay. Now, who remembers almost a year ago the Uvalde School District shooting in Uvalde, Texas? I'm going to also talk about this on the original YouTube channel, but there are some school safety bills that are out there, and that's addressing school safety. So finally, there could be laws being passed to address school safety, which comes after Uvalde. So, could we really see what's happening here? Remember, there are a lot more laws in Texas. We focused on this last season, as well as the Guns in America, A Day in the Life for all kids. So, school safety is always in the news. So what else can be done? Here's Michelle Lorenzo.
A child's safety and well-being is usually a parent's top priority, but nowadays, it's also been a concern for parents when they send their kids to school, especially for Texans like mother of two Brooke Griffin, who has a son in kindergarten. Safety is also on the mind of this father of five. neither will ever forget the state's deadliest school shooting at a Uvalde elementary school.
There's just so much going on now, just with the school shootings and everything. The world is just getting crazier every day.
I want my babies to come home every day. I don't want to have to worry about them being hurt in any way, especially at school when they're supposed to be safe.
All of the top GOP leaders in the Lone Star State have said they are focusing on school safety. Governor Greg Abbott even said the issue is one of his top priorities this legislative session. Many bills regarding school safety have been getting in front of our lawmakers, including House Bill 13. It would require school districts to adopt an active shooter preparedness plan. A special team would make policies to clarify procedures in case an emergency occurs. Districts would also be required to work closely with local law enforcement, who would walk through school buildings and lay out costs necessary to meet the state's established safety standards. There's also House Bill 3, which relates to the development and implementation of funding for public school safety and security requirements. Some of its actions include mandating the presence of at least one armed security officer during school hours. Parents we spoke with are pleased our state representatives are trying to fix a problem. They say the schools their children attend are doing a good job too.
They're really safe. They keep us updated in anything that's going on.
They have security in the school, inside and outside, walking around, and it's actually gated. So it just makes me feel more comfortable sending him to school and knowing that he's in a safe environment.
On a related note, Senate Bill 728 was passed yesterday. If it is signed into law, it would crack down on courts, requiring them to report all involuntary mental health hospitalizations for juveniles 16 and older. An investigation revealed some county and district courts were not reporting this information to the Texas Department of Public Safety because of a loophole. The Department of Public Safety sends those records to the FBI's National Firearms Background Check System.
That's something to look out for. That's something for me to talk about. Thank you, Michelle. Okay. So we've thrown you out common sense. So really, there needs to be laws passed to prevent about school safety, having security officers. That's great. A lot of schools are safe. Flower Bluff, a lot of schools are being safe. They're trying their best about school safety. Now, here's a story. Now, here's our next story here. Imagine a camera being put in a restaurant. Can you ever imagine like putting a camera in a restaurant? I'm going to play that story when we return. And you can judge for yourself. Stay with us. Can you ever imagine walking into a restaurant bathroom and noticing up top a camera installed in the bathroom, pointing at the sink, not on top of the urinal, so you can complain to the police. And then the police talk to the owner and they say he didn't deny it. But there is now a new camera installed years ago. It was back in 2016. And no one denied it, but now there was a new camera in that 3 years ago. So is it fact or fiction? It's fiction. So what else can be? So what is more being done about this? Here's Greg Chandler.
This picture sent by a viewer makes it look like this camera, recorded by us in 2016, has moved. Wings & More denies that allegation and refused an interview. Back in 2016, owner David Brimhall told us the camera is there to, quote, ensure a wholesome and...
This is what he said. This is a way of ensuring wholesomeness and a clean environment for our customers and, more importantly, families. Also, I want to protect my restaurant from any further property damage to the camera. And the camera is more deterrent for any future property damage. If we can deter people from causing any further damage with these cameras, and if I could do something about it, I am.
Clean environment and to protect his business from vandals. But is it legal?
The law outlaws recording without a person's consent and with the intent to invade their privacy.
The law is section 2115 of the Texas Penal Code. Paragraph B prohibits photographs or electronic recordings of a bathroom or changing room. There is a sign outside the restroom warning people But the law says that doesn't mean you consent to being recorded.
And that makes sense, right? Because you could have people who don't see the sign, you could have people who need to go to the restroom and are not consenting but nonetheless are availing themselves of that. And frankly, the bigger issue is we go to a restroom to have privacy.
Consent is part of the law. Intent is the other. In 2016, Brimhall told us his intention isn't to invade privacy, but to protect his business.
Even if there is an intent.
First Assistant DA Matt Manning says that while he can't comment specifically on this camera, he believes a camera in a restroom is an invasion of privacy.
The reality of it is in a restroom in particular, there are times where you may have something pointed a certain way, but you're nonetheless still able to see certain, parts of the body.
Assistant DA Matt Manning says his office can't pursue this matter unless someone complains to either the DA's office or to the police. CCPD did stop by Wings and More this morning to check the camera out. They went there in response to our questions. Paula?
All right, Greg Chandler reporting in studio, and according to the DA's office, recording in a restroom is a state felony, which carries a prison term of 6 months to 2 years.
Exactly. And there was a similar instance to that in Flower Bluff, where someone posted on Facebook this. I'm not going to explain it to you because I don't want them under the bus. But it is true. You put a camera in the bathroom without consent, you're violating Section 2115 of the Texas Penal Code, and you're be serving 6 months to 2 years in prison. That's the law here. We're going to try out something new here, Viral Break, and I'm going to have that for you when we return. Stay with me. Before we leave here, we're going to try out something new. It's called Viral Break. Every now and then, we like to have a little fun on this broadcast by not having me making you laugh, looking at some very viral videos that really do make us have a good laugh. In this first one here, a man takes a shit in a mop bucket. A homeless person. Now, there's 2 versions to this. Let's take a look at this one. Did he just shit in the mop bucket? Did he just take a crap in the mop bucket? It gets worse. Take a look at the 33-second video from Michael Rapp.
This guy's doing bad. What's this guy doing? What are you doing?
Hey! Hey, shit in the bucket! He's shit in your bucket, man! Mom! Call the police! Call the cops! Hey, break it up, man! Shit! Don't do it again! Mom! He's shitting in the bucket, Mom! Call the fucking cops! He's shitting in the man's bucket, Mom!
Sorry. Okay. Did he just take a crap in the mop bucket? You know what's even worse? If we had time, I would play that student who took a shit in the sink and the principal yelled at him. Seriously, taking a shit in the mop bucket, taking a shit in the urinal. It wouldn't be funny for people. It's not funny for people to be hanging on dangerous balconies, but to this guy who took a crap in the mop bucket, It is hilarious. Now this was last year. This got 1 million views and over 2.9 comments. This is what it said. That guy say, yo, almost got this fat dump. NYC's economic, social, and cultural capital of North America. If I was ever the cleaning guy, I would say, F this, I'm going home. Hey, you shit in your bucket, bro. It's a symbol to the state NYC right now. Look at the bro's face when he sat down for the second time. Hey, you shit in your bucket, bro. Alright, you shit in your bucket, bro. Ow, he shit in your bucket, bro. I think we can all admit he really looks like he needed to go. I'm not sure if I was supposed to, but I'm really crying at this video, brawling with laughter, tears streaming down my face. I can't stop laughing. I could live ever in New York in 30 seconds. If this is real, poor mom guy has to do a full bottle, has to clean up. Bro was on a busy schedule, he couldn't order anymore. Hey! What's Skinny gonna do? Skinny! Go! No! I gotta take a crap! I'm calling the police! Police! It's like, I can't, I gotta go, man! And you think, oh, it would be cool for me to take a shit. Take a dump in the freaking mop bucket. This was a year ago. It'd be funny though, this man commentated on this.
This guy's doing bad. What's this guy doing? What you doing?
Hey! Hey, shit in the bucket! Hey, shit in your bucket, man! Mom! Call the police! Call the cops! Hey, break it up, man! Call! Shit! Don't do it again! Mom!
Oh, God.
He's shitting in the bucket, Mom!
If I saw someone do that at the subway, I freaking won't get out the mop bucket and have shit on the floor. Are you enjoying your shit? Well, too bad. Shit on the floor. Oh, you think you have a good shit? Well, I'm about to make your shit terrible. Shit on the floor. And I'll make you rub your nose in it. That shit funny. Taking a shit in the mop bucket. I was dying of laughter. And if you saw that happening, this gets lots of views, and I'd probably be on Jimmy Kimmel just laughing about it. That's Give Me a Break for this Thursday. Coming up on Friday, the Texas law bills and viral break. Try it on this channel, and viral break's going to happen on the original channel. So I'm going to join us along with updates from Oxford and the school safety bill. So that's Throwback Thursday. We're back again next week. We'll see you again in a few weeks. We'll see you again in a few weeks. In 3 or 4 weeks, actually. For all of us here at YouTube, good night.